One of the major areas of focus for this day of the summit has been Joe Biden's Build Back Better World agreement, which the other G7 nations have signed up to. It's designed to rival China's Belt and Road infrastructure plan, which sees money spent all around the world. What the countries have agreed to do is, again, spend money on infrastructure projects around the globe in developing countries. And Joe Biden sees that as a rival to one of the Beijing power plays around the world. Lots of questions remain about it, though. How much funding it will have, exactly how enthusiastic other G7 nations are about it as well. And then the other side of the talks today, apart from foreign policy and apart from challenging China, has been around health, and the leaders have been signing up to a declaration which they say will prevent future pandemics and will make sure that if one does arise, then vaccines and treatments can be rolled out within 100 days of such a new disease being discovered.
Olly, they keep on talking about climate change, which is a little concerning because without China, Russia, and India and Africa on board, it really doesn't matter. But yesterday, they all went to this sort of biodome thing. What was that all about?
Yeah, the Biodome, the Eden Project, is an ecological project in Cornwall here in southwestern England. It's also a tourist attraction. I think it was used as a place from which the message could be conveyed that G7 nations are, as you say, committed, they say, to dealing with climate change. There have been climate protests, though, here in Cornwall as the summit's been ongoing, because climate activists here on the other side of the coin say that not enough is being done by G7 nations and not enough is being done quickly enough. So from both sides, G7 nations are being criticised on their stance on climate change, but certainly the leaders here say that they do want to commit to what they call ambitious targets, and that is ahead of the COP26 climate summit, which is more global and which is held also here in the UK in November.
Olly, it appears that the White House is really trying to put a focus on China, but the Europeans are very cautious about pushing back too hard. Is that going to make a unified approach coming out of this meeting impossible?
It certainly makes it harder. I think that the G7 leaders who are here are so keen to stress unity and resolve and show that democracies can work together to combat challenges like China, that the words will be very positive. They will all say they agree. They'll all try and talk about coming out of the summit with a similar stance. But there's no doubt that behind the scenes there are divisions. That Build Back Better World project from Joe Biden, as I say, remains to be seen how much funding and enthusiasm comes from some of the European countries, for example. We know that the US and UK are now pretty much aligned when it comes to China, but some of those other European countries that are here in Cornwall are less so and do want to be a little bit kinder to the Chinese than perhaps the Americans and the British are minded to be, a little bit less provocative and bellicose when it comes to their position on Beijing.
On that infrastructure package, Olly, do we have any sense of how big it is and what the U.S. share of that would be?
Yeah, that's the real question about the Build Back Better World, or B3W as it's being known. The White House is trumpeting it as a major challenge to Chinese dominance in terms of infrastructure projects around the world and spending to try and boost influence. But it really isn't clear how much funding there is for it, where the funding is coming from, exactly how that funding is going to be forthcoming. And as I say, some questions about the enthusiasm of some of the G7 nations here who are signing up to this agreement. So I think it's one that we won't really know whether it's got any bite, any teeth for some time, and it won't be clear exactly who's paying for it for some time either.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.